Hello everyone! Today we're looking at Onelap, or as I call it, the Chinese Zwift. Here, booting up the game, we have the latest news. This article is about some cheating in one of the races last night. So, they've banned someone for cheating, so it's good to see they're taking that seriously. After registering online, log in with your email and password, then you have the familiar pairing, similar to what you have in Zwift. ANT Plus devices supported. And then we have 3 maps to choose from. I'm going to go for this one. But yeah, there are 3 maps. They're making maps all the time. On the right here we have all of the races that are going on. They have 3 races a day at the minute. Once you choose which map you want to ride on, you have the choice of free riding. So let's just get into that. Game seems focused around a lot of triathletes. Most of the loading screens have pictures of triathletes. Not sure why. Maybe in Chinese market, triathletes are the ones with the money. But yeah, straight in the game, we see the familiar kind of setup for anyone who's ever played Zwift. The very similar camera angles too. Got a kind of up high camera angle, behind camera angle, to the side camera angle. Graphics are okay. This is the newest map and looks looks a bit better than the other maps. Not a lot of people in the game at the minute. We can customize our guy a bit. Not as many options as in Zwift, but a couple of bikes to choose from. This is the basic carbon bike. There's also a basic aero bike, which is this one. A bit more aggressive geometry, some sleeker looking tubes. Then they have this basic TT bike. Yeah, I assume it has a lower drag than the others. And then we have the basic steel bike. Old school cool. But as you can see, basic steel, S-T-E-A-L, as opposed to S-T-E-E-L. But I'm going to go with the basic carbon because it's the only one that comes in pink. Oh, someone went past me. It's just a bot. So, also have different wheel options available. Deeper gives you more speeds on the flat, obviously. Shallower you can climb faster. Similar to Zwift, but maybe less options at this point. Then we've got different jerseys. Just a few choices. Some jerseys have multiple colours, but most of them just one colour. Like I said, it's very early stages for the game. I'm sure they'll add a bunch of this stuff later. And yeah, everything else is what you'd expect from Zwift. If we click up here, we can watch other people riding. This guy's slogging along. This is a bot. You can tell it's a bot because the name is in grey as opposed to white or blue. But yeah, for those of you who don't know anything about Zwift, basically you put your bike on a trainer, and either with virtual power, so it figures out the speed of your wheel using your speed sensor on your bike, or with an actual power meter, or with a smart trainer which can also measure the power. You ride on a static trainer, and then in the game your character also rides along. And it's just to make indoor training that much more fun. And this is Onelap. I think graphics-wise, this map looks quite nice. It's nicer. It's newer than the other 2 maps. We have some nice lighting effects of the light coming in through the gaps in the tunnel there. Similar to Zwift, each map has segments. There's a climbing segment, a sprint segment, and then an overall lap segment. And for each segment, there's a special jersey. So this guy has a polka dot jersey, which means he's the fastest guy in the climbing segment who's online right now. This is one of the other maps. You can see the graphics on this map, not quite as good looking as the other map, but it works. And this is the 3rd map, more of a city kind of setting. All 3 maps have day and night cycles. You can see the same map. Once you get out of the city, you go up this climb around this what looks like a dam. We also have training that we can do. So they have their set bunch of workouts. I'd say the only strange thing about this is the time's given in seconds, which is hard to work out at the bottom there. But yeah, you have it tells you how much power you're going to do for how much time, and then how much it'll take overall, what the training score is going to be like, what the intensity factor is. But you can also create your own workouts. Now, Zwift does this in the game itself, but this approach is it fires up your internet browser and you do it through your browser. Maybe it's a bit more clanky than the Zwift approach, but one thing I like about this is essentially you can be sitting in your office at work, or you can be sitting in class and just take out your phone, open up the address on your browser and start making a workout. And yeah, you add how many repeats of what amount of power you want, warm-ups, cool-downs. I've sped this up just so you don't have to watch the process. And there's a few bugs in it at the minute, but yeah, you save it, and then once you go back in, you have your new workout. So yeah, there I have my relaxing spin that I just created, which doesn't look very relaxing. And so once we load up this workout, we're in the game. At the bottom of the screen you can see the trace for the power target, which is what we just designed. So higher it is, the more power up. But those two red numbers you see is your target power on the left and your target cadence on the right. So if the arrow's pointing down, you need less power. If the arrow points up, you need more power. Again, maybe not as intuitive as the Zwift way, which shouts more power or less power. But it works. And yeah, so this is the warm-up section of the workout. There's maybe like a 10 or 20% tolerance in the cadence and the power, so as long as your power and your cadence are roughly what it should be, it's fine. And yeah, just go through what it says. At the bottom of the screen you can see the red line tracing what it should be. I got a bit bored and just put out some watts. You might be able to tell from the watts per kilo on the right. I'm a bit of a skinny guy. I weigh 52 kilos, so at 200 watts I'm doing 4 watts a kilo, 300 watts, 6 watts a kilo. And yeah, the guy gets out the saddle the more you put your feet down. If you totally relax, he'll sit up a bit. And if you finish the ride, you have these graphs. Tells you what your normalized power was. The graph at the bottom is the amount of time spent in each power range. You can mouse over all the stuff for a quick description. Kind of like your standard stuff. How far you traveled, how much ascending you did. Then there's a heart rate, how much time you spent in each heart rate zone. And one for cadence, how much time you spent at each cadence. If we click down here, we have all of the fit files that the game generates. You can manually upload these to Strava. There's no automatic syncing with Strava, basically because Strava isn't supported in China because it uses Google Maps and Google are blocked in China. And we also have races in the game, similar to Zwift. At the moment they have 3 races a day, one at 7 p.m., one at 8 p.m., one at 9 p.m. And so I'm not taking part in this race, I'm just spectating. But you can see everyone's lined up. They're all putting out watts, but the race hasn't started yet, so you just sit there static, eyeing everyone up. But there's, like, all of these are people, these aren't bots. So they have quite good turnouts. The game hasn't been out that long. And so every day, every race, I'd say the least I've seen in a race so far is maybe 8 people, and the most I've seen in a race was maybe 30 or 40 people. You can see new people dropping into this race all the time. And we're off. On the left you have the leaderboard, how much distance to go each rider has. And again, it's it should be strategic, you know, people should be drafting to save energy and stuff, but anyone who's raced on Zwift knows it's just the first 20 minutes is you pedal like crazy, do what you can to try stay at the front. The first 20 minutes is just always over your FTP, always fighting, and if you're lucky, later it'll calm down a bit, but the first 20 minutes are always crazy, and it looks like it's the same here. Everyone's 4 watts a kilo, 5 watts per kilo. Everyone's trying to just straight out the gates, boom, gone. You see they're doing all 40 k's an hour, 42 k's an hour. Everyone's out in the saddle. I'd say the average level on here is maybe slightly faster than on Zwift. Maybe the top guys on here aren't as fast as the top guys on Zwift, but the average is higher. And I think the reason is that if you're into cycling enough in China to have a power meter or have a smart trainer, then you've got to be pretty good. So these races, they're definitely not easy. Most people have heart rate monitors, so you can see that, you know, they're not just cheating and using some sort of power emulator. The guys who don't have heart rate meters like this guy, I guess he just left on good faith. But as I said at the start of the video, they're banning people who get suspected of cheating and stuff, so, you know, it's a game. If you're going to cheat at the end of the day, you're only cheating yourself. So it's good fun. This was another race slightly later in the day with less people on, but it was still a good turnout. So yeah, that's Onelap. The game's developing super fast. They're updating the game pretty often. The greatest advantage of a Zwift, I think, is that it's free. There's no monthly subscription, you don't pay for the game, nothing. I talked to the developers and they said it's always going to be free. And the game's open to any trainer, any power meter, virtual power. The company behind the game also make their own smart trainer. The trainer actually looks really interesting. It's a smart trainer, it's got up to 2,000 watts resistance, ANT plus, a huge 5 kilogram flywheel, but it's only 3,800 RMB, which is about 550 US dollars, or 440 Great British pounds. The trainer is obviously optimized for Onelap, but they claim it works fine with Zwift, Trainer Road, and all the other options that are more popular in the West. So I'm going to try to get access to one of those trainers, and I'll bring you a video on that soon. So subscribe to the channel, and you won't miss that video. I'll let you know when the video is up. Thanks for watching. That's Onelap. Bye bye.